Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. I got up this morning after being away on a trip for some time to a very dry area of the continent and woke up to the rain, and I just said to myself, I'm going to welcome all today's gifts. The rain is a gift today to me, and each of us is a gift to this community. So welcome all, whoever you are, wherever you are in your journey. I'm Vanessa Cowie. I'm your worship associate this morning. I have a few announcements. We will have one service again next Sunday live from the mountain, the UU Retreat Center at the Highlands, in Highlands, North Carolina. And a live stream of that Sunday service will be available here in this room for those who wish to be present. And I'm not going to give away any precise details, but I think we're working on an extra special musical treat for next Sunday. So whether you're there or here, there will be an extra special musical treat of some kind. So look forward to that. And the live stream will also be available on our YouTube channel online for all those who are unable to make it with us in body. Spiritual Explorers is resuming on Thursday, September 15th. We'll meet weekly from 2 to 3:30. The group is open to anyone who would like to explore spiritual teachers, current issues, and authors, current and not. Check the weekly newsletter for details on that and other events on our calendar. And I also have an announcement from Kim Moya. And then after that, there will be an announcement from Alice Welborn. Thank you, Kim. There you are.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Circle Dinner organizer. We had the first Circle Dinner for this year. There were 17 people. Oh, you don't hear me? I'm the Circle Dinner organizer. We had the first Circle Dinner. 17 people attended the Circle Dinner. Circle Dinner, for those of you that know, is a very good way to know other people, to know more details about the life of other people. And that builds good vibes among people in an organization like this one. We're going to have the second Circle Dinner, and it's going to be Saturday, September 24th. I would like to encourage you, all of you, if you didn't sign yet, you can sign in the lobby, or you can call me. Also, I don't know if there are any visitors here, but you will be more than welcome to attend one of the Circle Dinners, even though you're not a church member yet. But we would like to know you, and we would like for you to know us better. Any questions? Ask me. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. Most of you have probably received your annual evaluation packet in the mail. You know, we've had evaluations of the ministry in the past, but this instrument and this process are, they're new. It's designed specifically by church members for our church on the basis of our foundational documents. And this is kind of its maiden voyage, and we really want everyone to respond, and then we'll kind of see what happens. Please fill out the evaluation thoughtfully and return it by the September 15th deadline. You can use the enclosed envelope or put it in the box up front. If you put it in the box up front, take the stamped envelope out and put it on the front counter out there so we don't waste a stamp. Even if you haven't been active in church for the past year or two, we want to hear from you. If you've only attended events that were online or outside, we want to hear from you. every voice helps the board, the minister, and the ministry teams to set realistic, honest goals for next year. If you don't have any knowledge about an aspect of the ministry, just mark NA and make a comment instead. Be part of this positive effort in whatever way works for you. Feel free to email me or talk with any of the Review Task Force members. That's me, Ian Cowie, Michael Solomon, Joanna Bliss, and Kevin Lausch. Thank you. Have a great day.
Another Alice. I'm Alice Hardy. Good morning. It is my pleasure to welcome back to our church this morning Reverend Phillip Thomason. Reverend Thomason spent his formative years in Atlanta, Georgia, where he attended Emory University, receiving his undergraduate degree, master's, and PhD. He was the director and clinical chaplain at the Hospice for Children at Emory University Hospital. Then he became the Minister of Outreach and Pastoral Care at St. Mark United Methodist Church, located in Midtown Atlanta. He and his husband, Rick, hi Rick, have been married for 10 years and have been together for 26 years. They moved to Brevard 10 years ago after their retirement, and now tell and say how much they love our wonderful city in the western North Carolina mountains. Phillip enjoys reading anything about Eleanor Roosevelt, watching and following the University of Tennessee women's basketball, along with traveling as much as he and Rick can arrange. He wants you all to know they have when is Eleanor going to come with you? Every time I do this, I say, Phillip, next time you bring Eleanor, and you and Rick never do. One of these days, they have a wonderful schnauzer named, as I've already given it away, Eleanor, who they dearly love. Later in this service, we will all have the pleasure of having Reverend Thomason talk with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Alice Hardy, and welcome, Reverend Thomason. Today's my first day to meet him, and I am delighted, and I'm also grateful to Alice, who has known him for some time, for introducing. We begin this service today with the words of the Reverend Dr. Jack Mendelson, who was Minister Emeritus of the First Parish in Bedford, Massachusetts. Here, in this sanctuary of ancient dreams and wisdom and beauty, we come to grow, to be healed, to stretch mind and heart, to be challenged, renewed, to be helped in our own continuing struggles for meaning and for love, to help build a world with more justice and mercy in it, to be counted among the hopers and doers. In the face of cynicism, darkness, brutality around us and within, we seek to align ourselves with a living community that would affirm rather than despair, that would think and act rather than merely adjust and succumb. Here, we invite the spirit of our own humanity and the healing powers under, around, through, and beyond it to give us the nerve and grace, the toughness and sensitivity to search out the truth that frees and the life that maketh all things new. Now I ask you to rise, please, in body or in spirit, and sing our first hymn, Let There Be Light. We move more deeply into our worship service by lighting the chalice, symbol of Unitarian Universalism. For our chalice lighting, tomorrow is Labor Day. We anticipate today's sermon speaking to us of the work we must do to bring about the world that we choose. And so these chalice lighting words honoring our labors are from the Reverend Florence Caplow, minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Urbana-Champaign in Illinois, and I ask us to read them in unison. In recognition of Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work, including the work of hands and our backs, in gratitude for all the labors that support our world, and for all those who boldly continue the work of justice, equity, and peace. Thank you. And now Kevin Lausch has words of wisdom for all ages. Thank you, Kevin.
Good morning, everybody. Cadence and Gus Renner have stepped up here to help with me. Do you think both you guys, so you could be seen, could step up here on the chair? And this month, we are talking about belonging. And we are working to understand about belonging and everybody being included and accepted together. And so today, we just have a little way to show that for you. And when we aren't opening our circle to everyone, we're being exclusive. Do either of you know what the word exclusive means? It means not letting somebody in who knows us, or not letting somebody in to play with us or to be with us. And unfortunately, as Unitarians, we have done that in the past. We have done that in the past when we have excluded people who have a different color skin, or we've done that because they might have believed a little bit differently than us, or we've done that because someone might have been openly gay or lesbian or bisexual, or someone is transgender, meaning having not just what we think of as the okay genders that they were supposedly born with. And so what we're trying to do now is include more people. And if we are ever excluding somebody, let me get the box here to balance this on. If we're ever excluding somebody, it's sort of like this piece of wood. And Gus, would you put that piece of wood just right here on the top? You do that? And when you're excluded, it kind of feels like this little piece of wood where you are all alone and no one is including you or liking you. But there's ways around that. And there's a poem by Edward Markham that says, "He drew a circle to shut me out, heretic, rebel, a thing to flout. But love and I had a wit to win. We drew a circle and took him in." Which means if someone excludes us, maybe we can try and include them. And we include them, something neat happens. And Cadence, will you put the next one on top? We draw a bigger circle to include people. And then they start becoming part of us. And we widened our circle to include the first Unitarian minister who was African American, that was Reverend Ethelred Brown. And so we drew the circle bigger. Thank you, Gus. And we drew the circle bigger when we included the first Unitarian woman minister, Reverend Olympia Brown. And we drew the circle bigger again when we included our first Latino president, Reverend Peter Morales. And we drew the circle bigger again when we included our openly gay minister, Reverend James Stoll. And we widened the circle again when we included our first transgender minister, Reverend Sean Dennison. Now, what is this starting to look like, guys? A rainbow. And it builds and it builds and it builds. And that's sort of like all of us coming together this morning. We are including people. We are stronger and bigger together. The circle gets wider and wider. So this month we're learning about belonging, and let's all work to include everyone and exclude or don't keep out anyone. Does that make sense? Gus, Cadence, thanks so much for being up here and helping me. and we can now head out. Is it okay if we leave this up on the table too? Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin and Gus and Cadence. This morning, as we do almost every Sunday morning, we have a circle of candles available for lighting to mark deep joy or sorrow in the heart of this community. As you can see, we have some candles lit. Paper and pens are also available if someone who wishes to share would like to have the joy or sorrow shared from the pulpit. And so if there's someone who wishes to take part in this ritual now, please feel free to do so by coming forward and lighting a candle while I read words from Starhawk. We are all longing to go home, to some place we have never been, a place half remembered and half envisioned we can only catch glimpses of from time to time. Community. Somewhere there are people to whom we can speak without our words catching in our throats. Somewhere a circle of hands will open to receive us. Eyes will light up when we enter the room. Voices will celebrate with us whenever we come into our own power. Community means strength that joins our strength to do the work that needs to be done. Arms to hold us when we falter. A circle of healing. A circle of friends. Someplace where we can be free. For all the joys represented here by these candles and all the sorrows, and for joys and sorrows that remain silent in our hearts, let us hold those tenderly for a moment of silence. May it be so. UUTC's mission is to support individual spiritual journeys and to promote social, economic, and environmental justice. When we take the offering that our ushers will be passing baskets for momentarily, it's an opportunity to help that mission along. Whether you drop your contribution into the basket today or go online and do it with a mouse click. There are also envelopes available in the baskets. Today you can slip a donation in there for our charitable giving recipient this month. It is Meals on Wheels, the local organization that brings meals to the homebound here in Transylvania County.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything you your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Like a bolt out of the blue, suddenly it comes in view. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. When a star's born, they possess a gift or two. One of them is this: they have the power to make a wish come true. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. Anything your heart desires will come to you. If your heart is in your dream, no request is too extreme. When you wish upon a star, as dreamers do, fate is kind. She brings to those who love the sweet fulfillment of their secret longing. Ooh, like a bolt out of the blue, suddenly it comes in view. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true.
And know that all of your gifts are greatly appreciated. Thank you. And now, Reverend Phillip, we welcome you to the pulpit.
Good morning. Look out the windows. Just mesmerizes me. I don't know about you. And I think what mesmerizes me is that there's a part of this country that literally would just like to look out the window and see a little bit of rain. Maybe that's one of those things that we can wish upon a star for this morning right now. That our friends, our neighbors, the people that we love in those parts of this country where things are happening that shouldn't be happening because of climate change will receive a little bit of relief. So with me, look out just a moment and offer a prayer up for those people. One of my best friends in the world is the senior minister at Los Angeles First United Methodist Church. Her name is Mandy McDowell. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful woman. Sold all their buildings, sold everything. They no longer have a church. They worship every Sunday in a parking lot and use what money they have made through their churches sell to help those that live in the community that need to be helped. That's what I think church should be. At Christmas time, they do this nativity scene that's absolutely wonderful. They have a van that goes around all over the city of Los Angeles, into the barrios all over the city, and they'll park it, and Mandy will be on a street corner somewhere and begin to share that nativity scene that we've all heard about or read about. And then from this comes a wise man. From down the street comes somebody else. From here comes somebody else. From here comes Mary. Here comes Joseph, all dressed as homeless people who gather in this part of the city to worship and to be a part of the church. I think that's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful theology about that goes on. When I was a boy, we eagerly awaited each Sunday evening for the wonderful world of Disney. We would play outside until we heard our mom come to the back door and say, Betty, Cynthia, Arthur, and we'd get up and leave because we knew it was time to come in and watch the wonderful world of Disney. The next week we would hear, Betty Ann, Sheila, Dave, it's time to come in. And we would get up and go in and watch the wonderful world of Disney. The next week, we would hear, Sally, she never called us by our names. And we would get up and leave, and the kids that we were with would say, well, I thought your name was Phillip. Doesn't your mama know your name? And every week it would be something else. In her broken Spanish, she would call us her beautiful son, her beautiful daughters. We knew it was time to get up and leave, regardless of what other people thought. We knew what she meant, and it was time to come in. And we would gather together in front of this little bitty black and white TV and just be mesmerized at all of those wonderful, wonderful Walt Disney things that we all remember from our childhood. You remember Dumbo, you remember Cinderella, you remember Snow White, you remember, I think a lot of these things now, names have been changed a little bit to make them a little bit more appropriate, but we still remember them. I remember one of my favorites was the story of Pinocchio. The little boy that every time he told a lie, what would happen? His nose would grow. But you know, in the original story about Pinocchio, it was written by an Italian man, and it was a children's story. And as it was written, it was just kind of taken over by Walt Disney, who had a tendency to find things and change them to suit his needs. Now, thankfully, he did change Pinocchio because the story, even though it was a children's story that was written for the children in the community, was not a story that I would want my children to hear. Because in that story, Pinocchio kills Jiminy Cricket. He slings him up against the wall, and Jiminy Cricket dies. That was Sir Jiminy Cricket, later just to be known as Jiminy Cricket, who made When You Wish Upon a Star the song that it is today. It was only heard at the beginning, and it was heard at the end as the credits. But look what a wonder that story has done for us, because every one of you in here, when you heard that song, it took you to a place. Now, whether you want to admit it or not, it took you to a place that you had not been taken to in a long time. There's something about wishing upon a star that causes us all to feel a little more hopeful, to feel a little more like maybe the world that we're living in isn't going to be quite as bad if we can just wish upon a star. I wish I didn't have to say this to you, because I think of you as my friends, and I don't want you to go home thinking this. But that just ain't the truth. It's just not the truth. We can sit outside and wish upon a star all we want to wish. And sometimes, yes, those wishes do take place. But you know, when I sit out on our deck, I live out in the mountains, and I can see the stars at night, a lot of my wishes just never materialize. It just never happens. And it's caused me to believe this, that this life, my life, your life, our lives together is going to take a lot more to change than just to wish upon something. When I was the director of the Children's Hospice, I would hear over and over and over again, I just wish my child. I just wish from the child. I don't want to do that in the morning. I don't want an injection again. I don't want to go through this again. I don't need that again. I just wish and I wish and I wish. And I always wanted to put my hands in my pocket and pull out a big magical bag and say, your wish will come true. It never happened. Now maybe the next morning I could talk somebody into maybe not doing a treatment that day, not the child, the doctor. And let's bring in a therapy animal. Let's do something that will make that child happy today, instead of laying in that bed all night worrying about the pain and all that they would have to go through the next day. And you know, there were doctors at Emory University Hospital who would do this, who would say, we won't do the treatment tomorrow. You're with them more than I am. Why don't we do this? And you know, that wish at that moment could come true. And it was one of those wonders that just would happen. I think those of you who know me know that I'm a pretty political person. It's just the way that I was made. It's just the way that I believe. It's just the way that I think that we have to live in this world together. But I don't see politics as something that should be separated from the church. Now let me tell you what I mean. I believe everybody has a chance to say whatever they believe. But I believe what I believe is a moral issue and not a political issue. It's not something I'm going to sit around and just wish that will happen. I used to be very involved in the death penalty in the state of Georgia. And if I would say it in my church, I would invariably have somebody who would send me an email telling me that I was bordering on it being political. And my answer to them is, I'm sorry, it's not a political issue. Somebody's life is a moral issue. So come on into my office. Let's sit down and talk about it. I didn't always change their mind. In fact, it wasn't my goal to change their mind. It was my goal to help them see that sometimes individuals just need to be loved and concerned for and cared for. And we're not doing a very good job of that. One of my heroes in Brevard, I didn't meet this person until 10 years ago, is sitting right here on the front row right here. This lady right here. She is one of my true heroes in Brevard. Because I believe in exactly what you believe in, and we state those statements, and they're not just political statements. They're what we believe in morally should happen when a group of people gather together to make a change in this world. You said to me this morning, I love the public school and I love the public library. And I thought, we certainly agree on that one. Being from the state of Georgia, I'm a little bit embarrassed right now. and a lot of things that are going on, but in particular, and again, I will say to you, it's not a political issue for me. But if you can do something, and I realize I'm kind of talking to the choir, but if you can do something, if you can write a card, if you can send an email, if you can offer up something, has to be done about the moral issue about who will be the senator from the state of Georgia. It is a moral issue. We won't even call that person's name. I'm also a University of Georgia Bulldog fan. Saw him play, went to the Sugar Bowl. So you know who it is now, don't you? We've got to do this and separate this wishing upon something and putting that into practice. You can't just wish. You got to do something about that wish and do your best to make it happen. Imagine what state this world would be in at this point of the game if all we did was sit around and wish. I wish. I wish. I wish that our president, I wish that our ex-president, I wish. Don't wish. Do something. Make it happen. And if you can't make it happen this time, don't give up, because there's the next time and the next time and the next time till eventually we can make sure that these things do happen. And the reason I say they're not politically motivated on my part is that I believe that people are entitled to good water. That's not a political issue. That's a moral issue. I believe people are entitled to justice in their lives. That is a moral issue. That is not a political issue. I believe people are entitled to be free to walk the streets and not be afraid about who they are or where they came from. I have to admit to you, there have been times in Brevard where I've been a little bit fearful about who I am as a person and who Rick is as a person. And it's a little bit fearful for me to ride around and see people with these horrible flags flying on their trucks. That's not political. Political to me is the process of. Morally, it's what we do for. Does that make sense to you? It's the process of. Morally is what we do for. My mama used to say this. People would argue, complain, and do something, and she would say to us, now you need to just stop a minute. And if this isn't going to feed a hungry baby, you need to keep your mouth shut. And that has become my motto in life. If what I say is not going to help somebody, then maybe I just need to keep my mouth shut. That's the only way I can see that it works. Maybe I just need to keep my mouth shut. But I'll tell you this, I can keep my mouth shut, but my actions will never go away. Because I think that you and I, we've been called to an awesome responsibility. And that's to take this world and make it better somehow. To feed those that are hungry. To provide love to those people that are unloved. To visit those in jail. All of those things that the prophet Jesus spoke about. The prophet Buddha spoke about. All of those things. One story and I'm through. When I was one of the ministers at St. Mark United Methodist Church in Atlanta, it was a large United Methodist church that had died away. At one time it had the movers and the shakers, the governors, all just died away. And when I came there, it was under the bishop's authority to say, Phillip and Mike, who was there with me, we need you to close this church down. Well, we didn't want to close it down. It's too beautiful. If you ever go to Atlanta, go to the corner of 5th and Peachtree Street. It's this beautiful 1904 Gothic building with beautiful windows from Germany. Beautiful. So we said, what do we do? How do we do this? What can we say? It's inevitable. Instead of figuring this out, we've got to figure out what to say to this group of people that were going to have to shut their church. But we had to do it quietly. But you know, we didn't do it quietly. We didn't say to them one thing other than, there's a gay pride parade coming, and half of them, 90% of the people in this church at that point were women over the age of 70. And so when that was said, we thought, uh-oh, we're in trouble now. One little lady came to me, Miss Mary, and said, well, preacher, do you think we could give him a little cup of water? I thought, well, you can do what you want to do. And then somebody else came and said, what if we do this, and what if we do this? And on the day of that parade, all of these little gray-haired, little beautiful ladies were standing out in front of our church with little Dixie cups and a hose pipe, filling these cups up as these transgendered people, gay people, lesbians, drag queens, you name it, were coming down the streets in their glory. But they kept filling those little cups up, handing them out, filling them up and handing them out. Somebody would ride by and grant you, sometimes you would just need to turn your back, keep filling the cups. But they kept doing it. And the next Sunday, 30, 40 people from the parade came to church. By the time it was over, we went with maybe 200 in church on Sunday. Maybe. That's too much, isn't it, Rick? Maybe 80 in church on Sunday. Till it was over, there were 900 people coming to church. And it was because we didn't just wish that it would happen. We intentionally made it happen for these people that needed to know that they were loved and cared for, and the world was for them too. So the next time that you get into your shower or you're sitting lonely and you start singing, when you wish upon a star, what's the song? Makes no difference who you are. Think about it. You can wish and wish and wish your life away. But until you put those actions together with those wishes, it just may never come true. So I invite you to wish upon a star. I invite you to put those actions together. And I really, truly believe that we have the power to make wonderful things happen. Blessings to you, my friends. And I would like you to please rise in body or spirit for our closing hymn, one of my favorites, Lift Every Voice and Sing. Voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound, let it rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that dark past is darkness. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought. I never hear that it's just not. Wow, 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 wow. Go in peace, my friends, and go knowing that you have been given an awesome responsibility to go in the world and to do great, great things for all of those people who have less, for all of those people that are hungry, for all of those people who hurt on a daily basis, for all of those people who need the rain. You are the people called to make those changes. Now go, my friends. Amen.